This video, we're going to be breaking down a new formation added into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive playbook, as well as some new plays in the most recent update, and that is the bunch tight end. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a really good bunch strong nasty. We've broken that down here before on the channel. They get some really cool stuff in that. They also have bunch wide flex. They have this Y off trips with the RPO read flat. That's really good. Some motion plays. But now let's take a look at the bunch tight end. This is the most significant upgrade to a playbook I think that we've seen. And it's because of some of the plays in here that they have. They have all of the good auto motion plays from other bunch tight end sets. So what we're able to do here is we'll set a couple of audibles. We have the cheat tight end hitch halfback seam play. It's one of my favorite plays in the game. You also have in this the halfback off tackle, which is a really good run play to be able to have access to. You have Peeve over, which is just a classic good bunch tight end play. And then you have the play motion slot flood, which I like to have this in my audibles. And then I pretty much like to come out in, you can kind of come out in a couple different plays in here. I think that you can come out into play whips. You can come out into play, wherever that is. I totally passed that motion divide. I think I'm going to start by coming out motion divide just because it is the new play. And we'll get into some of the how this formation should be ran. So this formation in general should be ran with your bunch to the wide side of the field. It's going to make it the best it possibly can be. And we're going to kind of build around this play motion slot flood. So as you see here with this play motion slot flood, the main route on the play that is really significant is that it has this kind of slot fade that is really good for pulling outside quarter zones. So the way that I like to set this play up is really simple. We're just going to put a corner route on the outside receiver. You can stem him down one if you would like to. We're going to put a post on the inside bunch receiver, and then we're going to put a drag on the tight end. So you see here the play looks something like this. You can block the running back if you want to, or put him in the pattern. So what you're going to see is that this kind of glitchy fade route is going to pull all the zones in the game to him. It's going to pull every deep zone that you can imagine. Outside third, outside quarter is going to get pulled out to the outside, out to the sideline. And so it's going to leave this nice open space for us to be able to attack this underneath. Now you see here again, let's see if I can hit this corner out a little bit cleaner. And that's kind of the standard defense you're going to see, which is most people have kind of generally, I think you'll see the cover four, just a basic cover four drop with hard flats seems to kind of be the main way that people are playing defense in this game. So you see here, look how much space I have though to throw this because of the clear out that outside fade provides. And so what that's going to force them to do is situationally get into some cover two. The beauty of this motion slot flood play is you can have a kind of built-in cover two beater by just streaking the inside bunch receiver. And what you're going to see is that this fade is going to do a good job of just essentially bombing cover two. Now there is a window to throw that little fade route in the standard setup that we showed you, which let me take a look at that real quick. So we're going to do a corner route, post, a drag. And what you can do with this is if you throw this fade, you'll see how that deep half kind of turns. There's a little window, but as you see, it can just be a little bit more dicey. And so it's a little bit more of like a, I guess, a pass lead timing pattern than it would be if you just streak that inside bunch receiver. So that's just something that, kind of important to know. If you stem this, you are also able to like stem the post up one more, and you'll see that the deep half will kind of defend it like a streak for a little longer. And then the other thing that I would say is if you're still struggling to throw this, as you see I am, what you can do is you can high point and freeform this up and outside. So we'll see if we can actually get that for you here. So again, the main idea here is we're just going to high point and kind of freeform just to get this a little bit more out there. And as you see that time, able to hit it against a cover two coverage. So anyway, it just makes this very difficult for them to consistently play a cover two on you. And then, it really becomes about beating cover three, cover four. You'll see here, was actually a bad example. One of the other things I wanted to show you is with this play motion slot flood, what you're able to also do here is there's a little seam that you can basically kind of throw to, but it's just dicey, just the way the halves are. The halves kind of fan out a lot more this year than we've ever seen, and so that's just a component you have to kind of anticipate. That's why I think ultimately the best setup is the streak for a cover two, because you'll see here the deep half will get pulled and then, you know, your outside fade. I actually left the cover 4 to their call on that, so I should have hit the corner. But anyway, the seam streak setup is actually really good too, because we know how good seam streaks are in this game. So it'll essentially just be this right here. You still have a high-low read, but now you are utilizing a seam streak instead of a post. And then that means you can run the running back underneath on the table. So you see here, see how that corner route kind of just gets into a nice area of the field for you. So you have that play. That's one of the mainstay plays. Really, really good. Also against cover 2 man, because this little fade route is going to get into a really good spot against cover 2 man. Let me see if I can actually motion slot FUD here. Streak the inside guy, corner the outside guy, and then if you want to put the backs underneath, you can. What you'll see here is you essentially are going to have a one-on-one with the press man. So if you beat the press man, it'll be a touchdown. If you don't beat the press man, obviously, you throw something else like your running back drag or whatever. But the reason this is good is that the deep half can't really help them. So the deep half doesn't really provide any support to the shell. So you'll see here, you'll have the seam streak right up the middle. As you see, you can hit that a lot of times against cover 2 man if he gets off the press. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you is occasionally you can hit this outside fade. The outside fade is a little difficult to be able to properly hit if he doesn't win. But you see, like right there, see how he gets off the man press? Once you see that deep half never plays that. So because you have that streak clearing out. So you see how it kind of just really puts a defense like cover 2 man in kind of a difficult position to be able to handle some of the things you're doing. The other thing that you have here is if, let's say, they're playing you in press man again, but they're using now a cover 1 robber. It's always important to be able to have, just different ways of attacking man coverage. And this is just a really good play to be able to do that. So you'll see here, kind of the same idea. There's not going to be any safety help. That time, for whatever reason, the press kind of messed up the route. So then you would check down to your Texas route or your tight end drag or corner. I'm sure one of those were open on that play. But that's something you have to kind of be prepared for sometimes with this play is sometimes just the way bunch tight end is, the bumping, sometimes they just don't get off the jam. But when they do, like here's a great example. You see how he gets off that jam? You're just going to loft this up. Of course, I didn't pass it to the right side. But you're just going to basically loft it up and hit it over the top. Let's see if we can show it one more time. But you see how when he gets a step on that left side, like it's just a really, really good play to have. Let's see if we can get it again for you. So you see here, see how he's kind of getting off. That time he didn't get over the top of him, so it is what it is. But you could have checked down to your underneath. So anyways, I just wanted to showcase that route against the different types of man coverage shells that you're going to see. A lot of times this motion slot flood play, this route's going to get open. It just, for whatever reason, wasn't there. And then again, you'll see here underneath, like, look at the tight end right underneath. Just simple, free, easy read, easy money. Able to beat man, able to beat zone well. And so you just see how this play kind of puts them in a lot of there's a lot of difficulty defending this. So another play that I like to hit is this play right here. This is a little bit of a tough throw, but it actually can work. So what I like to do with this is the whatever this play was with the fade on the left side. I don't remember what this is actually called. I think it's motion divide. But anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to streak your inside guy. You're going to corner your outside guy. You're going to stem him all the way down. And then kind of same idea like this. But now what we're really looking to try to do here is we're trying to get this outside fade open over the top for a potential hit. As you see there, the outside quarter can drift in this game a lot more. But what I like to do is kind of build around the fade. So really a couple different setups that I like. That one is one of them. If the fade is not open, you can easily throw like the corner. I'll show you how the corner kind of gets open. See how the corner gets really open over there as well. But by having the fade there, if they switch stick to go guard off the quarter, then the fade will be wide open. There are times in game where this outside fade can just get open. One of the other setups I like to do is kind of a super heavy seam streak attack like this. This is kind of like the bunch strong, flood type of play. It's essentially what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to attack the seams on both sides. So you see here, we can throw the inside guy. If they use the inside guy, we can throw the outside guy. So like, let's say they shade inside a lot of times. So this is just a nice little like quick dot that you can have. That's normally pretty reliable. So you have this this setup. You can also kind of do this if you want, like a little bit more of an underneath setup like that. There's nothing wrong with that either. As you'll see here, running back kind of gets into a nice soft spot if everything else gets covered. So you have that stuff going for you within this formation. Another really good combo out of this formation, in my opinion, is this right here. So we're gonna so most of the plays that you've probably seen so far primarily attack the left side of the field. This next setup is going to attack the right side of the field, because what a lot of people do is they'll play cover 2 to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to cheat tight end halfback seam, and we're just going to streak our tight end like this, and then we are going to table route our running back, and then we are going to slant and post on the backside. So it looks like this, basically. If you don't like the spacing of the slant, feel free to put him on a drag. But this is primarily designed to attack cover 2 to the right side. You see you have this little cheat motion. That flat will ensure that they never gets matched. And as you see, they can't really run cover 2 to the right side anymore. And the thing about these cheat motions that I really like is they happen really quick. So like once your play is set up, this is going to happen like in terms of like the defense not being able to adjust. Like they set up defense for the left side. Now you're going the right side. Boom. And then you have this kind of backside high-low between the drag and the post. The reason I like the drag post or the slant post instead of the drag post on this is primarily because you'll see here, and I kind of messed up the play, but I just want you to watch like this where the slant route gets to. See how the slant route can kind of get into a soft spot? So when you put that together with the table route, it makes this a really hard play to defend. It's kind of similar to motion cross post out of Bunch X Nasty. It's kind of what you basically created here. You have a seam streak too, you have a fade, and then you have that slant. See where that slant just gets a lot of space on the backside. So they have to kind of handle that. They have to use with that. Most people won't. You'll throw a lot of slants on this play. But then the other thing that is, if they do, let's say they do kind of stay underneath on the slant, or they do kind of help on the slant route, then look at how much space we've also cleared out for this backside post because we're using the 2 seam streaks. So it's a really nice play to be able to kind of attack that right sideline and really just force different types of zones in that situation. So another variation of this play that I like to run is this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to deep cross our tight end. We're going to streak the slot receiver like this, and we're going to basically run the play like this. So essentially what we're able to do with this is kind of creating essentially a Durham concept. So we have the cover 2 bomb, we have that right seam that we really are able to attack, that right kind of delayed seam. Because what a lot of people will do against a play like this, is you're going to get, in dollar, you're typically going to get a send. You're typically going to get in dollar a send 4 of some type. So it might look something like this. And then on this right side, you get a lot of cover 2, but they're going to see, oh, he's running this, so we're going to go into a coverage like this. So what this does is it really does a good job against that, because it puts the user in conflict where he has to choose, am I going to guard the tight end or am I going to guard the running back? So I really like this setup as well. I just think this spaces out really nicely. And you see if they do go cover 2, you have a chance for a touchdown. But then you see, look at the running back kind of get into the seam and gets into a really nice spot. So I like that about this play and its capabilities to be able to attack different coverages. We didn't want to spend too much time on man coverage, but we have seen a little bit more press shaded down heavy man coverage. If you go to this play and you run that first setup we gave you, this is going to pretty much, like, there's just never a reason to run cover 2 man after this. You should throw a touchdown every single time, or at least a big hitter to this fade over the top. It's a big hitter against cover 2 man, and really any press man it's going to do a good job against. So that's why I like that play. As far as other things that I would do from this play is not a ton, honestly. It's mainly just really utilizing the double streaks. I really like that. And then if you wanted to run a setup like this is really good. Or if you wanted to run a setup like this or something like this is fine too. The reason I have this out route here is sometimes you'll see people do a lot of like cloud flats. And so the out route, you'll see where it kind of gets to. See how it pulls that cloud flat down, and then you're able to throw this over the top. So kind of a nice little combination of plays where we're able to attack different parts of a zone defense pretty effectively. And then the next thing that I want to go over is this short post, using this short post to be able to attack the right sideline. So again, a lot of people are going to be in cover 4, and you have a stock short post here. So what I like to do with this play is we're going to streak the tight end. We're going to flat and do a flat zig combo on this left side. And then on the right side, you can either block the running back or put him out into the pattern, typically on an out route or table route like this. And essentially what you're going to see here is this short post just gets in a really nice spot of the field. It's very difficult for cover 4 to be able to handle a short post, which is why they're so good, by the way. And then the other thing that's really nice about this setup is if they are able to defend the short post, they're almost never able to defend this little flat zig combination. As you see, it gets just gets really, really open over there on that right side. So that's why I personally really like that play. There's not a lot of plays in here in which we properly utilize a tight end drag, but this is one of them. So we're going to drag the tight end. We're going to put the running back on a essentially just a basic Texas pattern like this. And then on this left-hand side here, actually, one second, I messed that up. We're just going to motion the running back. Can we not motion him? I don't know why we can't. Okay, just can't motion him. Cool. Put the running back on a Texas pattern so you see you have a kind of a trail concept. And then what I like to do here is I have this fade. And then you can kind of choose how you want to use this. I just put him on a flat. But essentially you'll see here the tight end can be thrown kind of in that middle area of the field. The short post can actually be thrown underneath those zones if they don't switch stick to it. What most people will do is they will switch stick to the post. So as we're kind of anticipating that they're going to switch stick to this post here, what we're then able to do is work this backside Texas route kind of in a nice soft spot of the defense. So that's another combo that I really like. And then another play that I really like is we're going to utilize a post. We're actually going to repost the slot receiver, and we're going to stem him up 2 times. We're going to corner route this outside guy, stem him down all the way, drag the tight end, and you can block the running back, but it basically looks like this. This is us trying to take a shot downfield against cover 4. A lot of times you'll see here that this post can kind of just get over the top of that outside quarter. You can catch it on the sideline like that. But another thing that this does a really good job of is, let's say in dollar specifically, a lot of people like to set a 5-yard hook curl and basically put most of their defense is going to be this cover 4 quarters, right, where they're just shading underneath and playing defense. This gives this coverage a little bit of trouble and can potentially give you a 1-play touchdown against it. We'll just kind of see here. But a lot of times what happens, and he actually did go to the route just a little late. A lot of times what will happen is this quarter will basically go to this post. And then on this right side, like let's actually just put the corner out. Kind of do some different things to try to make this. You see how he kind of makes that false step, and then this fade is just going to kind of ghost burn a match quarter like that. So again, what's basically happening is the inside quarter on the left side of the field is going to go guard the inside quarter on the left side of the field is going to go guard the post. And so just for a second, not a whole lot of time here. That time was actually good, but they bumped. So let's see if I can show it to you one more time here. And this is with 5-yard hook curls. This is with me like kind of setting this up properly, right, to be defended. But what happens is, you'll see here, see how he goes all the way that way with the post that time? And then you get this over the top for a touchdown. So that's a way that you can kind of manipulate the match coverages in 6-1 and the match coverages in dollar that you're going to see typically in this year's game. So you're able to have some kind of cool situational bombs that I think are really good in this formation. You also have this motion snag underplay, which I don't call this a lot, but it's basically a slant out to the left side. So what I like to do with this is just a simple streak, and then you can kind of do whatever you want on the back end. You can just literally hike this play. The one thing I want to show you is this short corner is going to kind of get over the top of a hard flat. But if they're curl flatting over there, or even if they're quarter flatting, I don't think it always gets over the top of that. So It's kind of primarily, actually, I guess it was getting over a quarter flat. It's kind of primarily for a hard flat. Like if they play cover two, this is not a good idea. But like, let's say let's say they play like a cloud flat on the outside. Just want you to watch how this kind of runs. But this short corner is kind of a cool route to have. But as you see here, cloud flat kind of gets there, as you see. So just something to kind of think about with that. But the beauty of these short corner routes is if they're playing off coverage, if they're playing like off coverage man, then this short corner route's going to be money. And you can even do stuff like just a little whip route like that. But basically, you'll see here, look at that short. Look at that thing just cook man coverage. So you have a nice man beating route. That route right there. Another thing that we wanted to go over is just kind of some plays out of this play, or some setups that I like to use out of this play. I'm actually going to look at this clear H out play real quick, and then we're going to talk about whips. So let's take a look at clear H out, see if it has the corner route that we're looking for, and it does not. So that's kind of unfortunate. These out routes, though, you can stem them down. So you'll see here, look how we can kind of like stem down a little speed out over here. That's kind of a cool little play that you can utilize. It kind of bluffs, like, because if you think about it, they're going to check out of a cover two into a cover four or something, right? So this kind of bluffs that. And then we do have some kind of cool routes. Like this is a unique whip route. What I like to do is stem this out route all the way down. And then from there we can, kind of basically just do whatever. But essentially the idea here is this hard flat. This is a hard flat. He doesn't cover this a lot. So it's kind of a gotcha dot or a quick dot that you're able to have. And then the other thing that I like about this is, let's say, you're kind of anticipating them potentially running cover two on you. This with this kind of combo right here is not a terrible play, especially against cover two, because as you see, I mean, just absolute, tons of space to be able to throw the running back in. So those are some good pieces of this. But really, the other play that we really wanted to take a look at here is going to be Peeve it over. And we do need to take a look at this cheat tight end hitch and go play real quick, because I don't remember if I can stem this route. I totally can. Okay. This is actually a super big piece of the offense. I forgot that I could stem this. So as you see when we do this motion, just take a look at the route. It's going to be a kind of essentially like an in route. As you see right there, it's like a delayed in. So we can kind of build a couple plays off of this. The first one is, as you know, when we do this cheat motion, we're normally attacking the right side. Well, now let's attack the left side. So the best way to do that is we're just going to do a streak. We're going to do a corner route. We're going to stem that corner route down, and we're going to do a running back or a tight end drag. So it looks like this. You can block the running back for additional protection if you want. But as you're going to see here, look at how this kind of spaces out against zone. You see how we're just able to basically just attack that left sideline. I need to get better at throwing these corner routes. But essentially, you also have a seam streak that you're able to hit, and then your corner, boom. So you have that. And then the beauty of this play, though, is we also have this return route. So as you see, this guy in the middle field is on a return route. So that we can essentially run smash return from this. So what I like to do is just stem this return route all the way down like so. And then as you see, it makes it a super sharp cutting return route. Now, a couple different ways to kind of treat this play. You can't really stem up this cheat motion, but you have this flat. So what I like to do is streak, slant, and then a deep cross to the tight end is what I like. Or if you don't like that, you can do a 10 to 15 yard in route. So you see how this is how the play looks. But this is kind of a little bit of a motion wide post type play. You have a real nice table route. You have a slant route. You have a return route. So you just kind of see how that spaces over the middle of the field fairly decently. So again, I'll show you just real quick. You don't have to stem it all the way down. Like you might stem it to, you probably do want to stem it all the way down. Like you want it down in that area. But anyway, the idea here is you can throw this right in that little pocket. So it's really a nice route to have in any offense this year. Pretty much every offense is going to use a good return route. If you let it run a little deeper, it's almost a little too deep to me. But you do have the slant flat combo. So the beauty of the slant flat combo is they have to hard flat to take this table away. If they don't hard flat, the table's a little bit it's just easy to hit the table for quite a few yards. So here they're going to hard flat to take the table away. And then you're going to see how, that opens up for your return route. Also would open up for your slant route, but for some reason I accidentally took that off the field. So we'll just show you again here. So you see how the slant kind of just gets in that spot, right? So this just does a really good job of kind of spacing out against zone well. It's also a really good play if they're in man coverage. So if they're in man coverage, you're going to see your slant is open, my return route's getting open, and then my tight end crosser is also kind of getting open over the field. So we'll try to show that again because that was, for whatever reason, we didn't get the best animations. You see there's the return route, and then there's the tight end route. So they have to kind of like adjust to, are they going to guard? What are they going to guard realistically? What a lot of people do is, they'll start dropping help like that over the middle of the field or something. And typically the route that you're going to hit a lot is this return route. Most people don't expect a return route. So you see there, that time the slant gets open. But just a nice little play that can do a lot for you. Another super underrated motion that we didn't cover yet that I did want to cover from a fade, and then we'll talk about whips. So let's say we have a play with a stock fade. If I can find it, motion divide. Another way we can run this play is we can streak the inside guy, and then we're going to put this inside guy whatever route we want. Actually, I guess I told you wrong because we can't motion him. Awesome. Disregard. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the play whips. This is kind of more basic bunch tight end this year, but whips is really good. As you see, I have this. I just have this really cool whip route, right? So what I like to do is just out route the inside guy, streak the outside guy, and boom, hike the ball. So super quick, but these whip routes just kind of get in. They're just super deep. So there's a couple different ways that we can use them. One of the ways is we can kind of freestyle out of this play and essentially turn this into kind of bench pivot from bunch like that. You see this little out, and then you got that whip route, hot routed, and throw something like that. But then, if they're playing a lot of hard flats, shade underneath, stuff like that, now we have a tight end whip route. The other thing about these whips is they're pivot routes. They're more of a pivot route than a whip route. So let's say, for example, just depending on how you want to do this, but basically look at the tight end. The tight end whip route is going to be a money route. It kind of gets in that little soft spot on the short side of the field against hard flat coverage. It takes a little for this to develop, but this is pretty good. You could do it like a little combo like this if you wanted to with a backside, backside stem. So you see here, boom. And this obviously is just going to require 2 yellow zones. Most of the time in dollar, they're going to blitz somebody and they're going to user somebody. So they basically have to user both zigs. And you just see here, there's just both zigs were open in that play. So these zigs are also really good against man. So you see here, they're just super deep. And so they just really do a good job at beating man coverage consistently. So you have that as well within this play. And then the arrow route from the running back is kind of cool. It's just a quick flat, like it just kind of runs super quick. But again, the main thing is these little whip routes, I think. And again, it's up to you really how you want to run the play. Like you could run the play like this, for example. Like this is a way people will set this up. And okay, they have the 2 yellows, but can they stop the post? So those are some of the basics of that. And then pivot over. This is just kind of a universal good play that I like. This setup right here, you have kind of a unique post route from the outside bunch receiver. That post route specifically can it can definitely bomb cover 3. You don't have a problem bombing cover 3. It's cover 4 is hard to bomb this year. But if it's cover 3, like you're going to be pretty successful here on this outside like that. So if it's cover 3, basically once this post crosses the middle third, then you're going to be good to go. So let's see here. And of course I said that, and oh my goodness, this game is something else this year. It's been a really, really weird Madden year for me, as far as like the way that zones play in this game are just wild to me. But anyway, we'll put a corner out here so that it'll actually pull this outside third. So you could do a setup like this. And you see here the corner out pulls out third. Oh, he's still sprinting back. Okay. I guess you just can't bomb coverage in this game. I'm not gonna overdo it. I mean, the baby dots are good enough. There's a lot of ways to bomb coverage. I don't know why that's happening, honestly. That's been like a universal cover 3 beater for a long time. But you can also throw them right underneath like that, too. And then the other thing with Peeve it over is it's a pretty good man beater. It has a nice little crosser. Like, just simply drag the tight end and go make a read. Boom. You know, and a lot of times this crosser just kind of gets into a spot that's hard to guard. So you pretty much, what Peeve it over does is it forces cover 4. And then what plays like whips do is they take advantage of cover 4. So that's kind of the general, like, chess match, I guess, or checkers, whatever you call it, for this offense. But this is bunch tight end. Really, the main thing is some of these motion plays. This new edition of this play right here really makes this formation a lot better. And yeah, if you guys want to take your Madden game to the next level, learn everything I know about the game, or college, you get everything for $10 in our school community. That's where you get all my ebooks, offensive, defensive ebooks, updates, everything you need to know, just in terms of how to become a better player. So if you want to sign up for that, that link is going to be in the description. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the Tampa Bay bunch tight end.